Warning: this video contains disturbing visuals and audio that may be distressing. Viewer discretion is advised. Watch at your own risk.
The Bavarian countryside stretched in eerie stillness, its rolling fields blanketed in a thick fog that curled around the skeletal trees. Near the isolated village of Kaifeck stood a lonely farmstead, Hinter-Kaifeck. The year was 1922, and within the farm's cold walls, a darkness festered, unseen and insidious. Andreas Gruber, a stern and unyielding man, ruled over the farm with an iron grip. His widowed daughter, Viktoria Gabriel, lived there with her two children, Cäzilia, a bright-eyed girl of 7, and Josef, an innocent toddler shrouded in whispered scandal. They were joined by Maria Baumgartner, a newly hired maid who arrived on a bleak March afternoon, unaware she was walking into the jaws of death. For weeks, the family had been plagued by strange occurrences. Andreas had spoken of hearing disembodied footsteps in the attic at night, the slow and deliberate pacing of someone or something that shouldn't have been there. Viktoria had confided in neighbors, her voice trembling as she spoke of whispers in the darkness, voices that did not belong to any living soul. The previous maid had fled in terror, insisting the farm was cursed, haunted by an unseen presence lurking in the shadows. No one had believed her. Then there were the footprints. On a frostbitten morning, Andreas found tracks leading from the dense forest to the farmhouse, but none leading away. His skin prickled with unease as he scoured the property, but there was no sign of an intruder. He kept his fears to himself, unwilling to look weak, but the silence of Hinter-Kaifeck had become suffocating, pressing in on the family like an unseen force, waiting, watching. On the night of March 31st, the waiting ended. The killer struck with unspeakable violence, wielding a pickaxe as if possessed by some ancient malice. One by one, he lured Andreas, Viktoria, and little Cäzilia out to the barn. The blows were merciless, shattering skulls and silencing screams before they could fully escape trembling lips. Cäzilia fought. She clawed at the ground, ripping out tufts of her own hair in a final, desperate agony. Inside the house, Maria had barely settled into her new life before death found her. The pickaxe fell upon her as she slept, a stranger's shadow, the last thing she ever saw. Then came Josef, the youngest, his cries cut short by the same merciless hand. And then, silence. Days passed. Smoke coiled lazily from the farmhouse chimney, an unnatural sight for a home that should have been mourning. Someone was there. Someone fed the livestock, prepared meals, and lived among the dead as though the horror had never occurred. It was only when the neighbors, sensing something was deeply wrong, ventured inside that the nightmare unveiled itself. The bodies were found covered, as though the killer had granted them a twisted form of respect. But the air reeked of old blood. The walls seemed to whisper with the echoes of their final moments. Investigators scoured the crime scene, uncovering sinister secrets buried within the family's past. Rumors of Andreas's abuse, of Viktoria's entrapment under his oppressive rule, of Josef's questionable parentage, all whispered truths that swirled through the village like a cold wind. Yet, despite endless interrogations and theories, the murderer was never found. The farmhouse was eventually abandoned, left to decay in the relentless grip of time. And yet, the darkness never truly left. Those who dared venture near the ruins spoke of distant footsteps in the dead of night, of shadows that flickered across the remnants of Hinter-Kaifeck, of a presence that still lingered, watching, waiting, forever bound to the horror of that blood-stained night. The mystery endures. The farmhouse is gone, but the ghosts of Hinter-Kaifeck remain, whispering their tale to those who dare listen. And somewhere in the endless abyss of history, the killer's secret is still waiting to be unearthed. Share your thought in the comment. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next episode of Secret Trails.